And welcome back to Mike Ferry TV. This is Mike Ferry. We are in Atlanta, Georgia, the week of April 17th. We're in Atlanta, Georgia this week. We're doing our two-day management retreat. We'll have a couple hundred brokers, owners, and managers from the East Coast that we'll be working with. We're working on increasing per-person productivity. We're working on how do we really have a big breakthrough with the company to get production at a high level. We're working on recruiting other good people like yourself to join them. We're going to continue, of course, our top 10 list we've been working on now. This is our 5th week in a 6-week series. Ira Naiditch, one of our great clients out of Pennsylvania and a coach for us and one of our speakers, after the retreat sent me his list. And I thought it was really interesting because I want you to listen to what Ira said. Dear Mike, as I put together my top 10 list, I did it with the perspective not only as a real estate salesperson, but as a coach, and how I can do a better job for my sellers and for the clients I'm coaching. My list certainly applies to listing and selling, but the focus was how do I do a better job every day for my clients? And you know, that's a great attitude to have, isn't it? Okay, how do I do a better job for my clients? Okay, you've got prospects, you've got a database, past client centers of influence, you've got listings that you're taking, you've got sales you make, buyer-controlled sales. How do you do a better job for your clients? Because our job is always to do a better job for our clients. So Ira's list I thought was very well done. I want to take you through it one at a time, and hopefully now you've got a good notebook full of ideas. We've had more than 40 ideas presented the last 4 weeks. We have 10 more for today in our top 10 list. Here's number 1, and this is a tough one. Learn to delegate more and really become more efficient, okay? Learn to delegate more. Delegation means to give away, get somebody else involved, give somebody authority, give up responsibility. Let somebody else do it, okay? What is the job of a real estate agent? Take listings, make sales, get listings sold. That's your job, okay? And the problem is, because most of us are not real efficient at the job we have, we get a listing, we'll spend 2, 3, 4 weeks servicing it. We put a listing sold under contract, buyer-controlled sale under contract, and then we spend 2, 3, 4 weeks working on it every day, all day long. Folks, I want you to think about it this way, okay? If you look at my hand, the center of my hand is a real estate transaction. We have mortgage, escrow, title, appraisal. We have all these different services that revolve around that transaction. The key to success for you and I is to allow the people that are handling transactions to handle transactions. Or in essence, give up the authority, give up the responsibility. Ira says, I have to learn to become more efficient. We become more efficient when we learn to delegate. Number 2 on Ira's list, this is great. Yes, I want to think bigger, but more importantly, I want to act bigger, implementing those ideas that really move me forward. Ira's from a kind of remote area in Pennsylvania. A lot of you live in remote parts of the US and Canada. For our European friends that watch these every week, so you're not always living in Rome or London. So therefore, the exposure to ideas to help you move forward, to grow, to get bigger in terms of how you think, how you act, what you believe in, and how you produce are many times hard to get. So Ira says, I'm committing to not only thinking bigger, because Ira is thinking bigger all the time. I think back when I first met Ira, he had come out of the service 20 years as a colonel. You know, that's a very limited type of thinking. Well, then he became a real estate sales professional, which he's done a great job doing. That changes the thinking again. Then he became a coach, which changes the thinking again. Now I have him out speaking around the country, which changes the thinking again. We have to act like the person we want to become. Now, what I want you to understand from what Ira's point number 2 is, we have to act like the person we're going to become. You may not be the person yet, but you're acting, you're portraying the model of this great real estate agent. Number 3 on Ira's list, listen to what the client is saying with the intent of understanding what they are saying versus just automatically moving forward in my presentation. Yes. Everything we teach is very scripted. Everything I'm doing today is very scripted. I do it every week. Notice I have the notes in my hand and I read them to you. Well, Mike, I would never walk into a house with my script in my hand. Fine, don't do it. It's up to you. okay? But why do you think it takes 50 to 60 hours if you're watching a TV show to make a 20 to 21 minute TV show? Because a 20 to 20 minute TV show takes about 60 hours because every word is scripted. And they're not holding the scripts in their hands, and they don't have a teleprompter in front of them. So they practice, rehearse, practice, rehearse, practice, rehearse. Let's turn the camera on. Action. They each say their 2 sentences. They cut the camera. They review it. They have to do it again. Well, now watch. You don't have to do that. You as a real estate professional can virtually have the scripts in your hand. You can walk in and say, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I've written down some really important questions that I need to ask. Would you mind if I ask them now? And they will go, of course not. And then you ask the questions. But then the catch is, instead of looking at the next question as they're answering, to look them in the eye and focus on what they are saying, because it's too easy to move forward and not hear the answers. So what Ira said, I really honed in on when I'm asking somebody a question, to really focus on the person. Remember what I said a couple years ago? Every person has stamped on their forehead MMFI, make me feel important. How do you make a person feel important? Look them in the eye as they're talking to you. When you ask a question, nod and respond. Be interested, be engaged. Ira, such a great point. Number 4 on his list, study the competition. Knowing what they offer and stay 2 steps ahead of all your competitors. I have people ask me all the time, does it bother you, Mike? And don't get mad if you're one of the competitors watching, because our competitors watch us just like everybody else does. Does it bother you, Mike, that your competitors, as you come up with new ideas, take your ideas and then pronounce them as theirs as if they invented them? I said, no, it's called life. Mike Vance, my mentor, said the key to success, create faster than your competition can steal. My job is to create. And I do that almost all the time. Well, what Ira's saying to you is this. You need to know what they're doing. Why? Because if they're doing something really good, borrow it, because that's what people do. But at the same time, you have to understand that by knowing what the competition is doing, and watch, your competition, I mean, they're not very professional, they're not very good. They're not watching this show. You know, we have, what, 12, 15,000 people a week, I guess, watching this little TV show. Watch, there's 1.3 million real estate agents. We have 12 to 15,000 watching it. And people say, wow, that's really good. That's terrible. Why aren't they all watching? Because they don't know what to do, they don't know what to say, and they don't want to learn. That's the competition. Now watch number 5. Listen to what Ira said here. If they argue with you, never argue back with them. If they push you back and you show antagonism and they show antagonism, don't push back. Well, what is the old rule? Al Tomsic, the sales trainer from Southern California, we lost him many, many years ago, unfortunately. He had a great rule. The customer is always right. I said to Al one day, well, what do you do when you know the customer's wrong? You make sure you understand that they're always right. But Al, I mean, sometimes they're dead wrong. But Mike, if you prove that they're wrong, they take their business someplace else. It's a hard one because we know that sometimes they say things to us on a listing presentation that's really pretty stupid. In some cases, almost obnoxious. They say things like, well, we want $795 for our home. We don't care if the highest price sale ever was only $600. Ours is that much nicer. You know, you want to reach over. But as soon as you argue, you lose, okay? So you have to understand that asking more questions when you have conflict creates the discussion to allow you then to move the conversation forward. Number 6, really understand the value of asking good questions and always work hard to ask more and more and more better questions. Again, if you haven't downloaded our scripts, download the scripts. Look at every script. All they are is questions. Doesn't matter whether it's pre-qualifying, lead follow-up, calling your database, any method of prospecting, the listing presentation, handling objections, it's all questions. Ask better questions. We've talked about it time and time again. Number 7, know what the client really wants from us. Work hard to provide what they want while working within the standards you've set, okay? In our new 3-day listing workshop we're doing all over North America now, and hopefully some of you are going to be taking it soon, we do one segment on this whole concept of what does a seller really want from an agent? And I've identified 12 to 15 different things that a seller wants. Are you providing it? Now you're going to say the seller wants us to sell the home. Of course they do. We know that. But what else do they want? What else are they looking for? What else are they trying to accomplish? Okay, let's go to number 8. Remember to really focus on what we can control. Okay, now you can control what you say. You can control how you react. You can control the way you look, your presence. You can control your attitude. You can control your mindset. You can control how you choose to respond when they ask a question. You can control how you choose to respond if they get upset. Why not take and just control those things you can? Now I know some of you are control freaks, and I know you all think I'm a control freak. I'm not, because I'm interested in you doing a better job. Control what you can control. And then, of course, number 9, operate from the scripts and from what Mike teaches, which in turn will keep me from operating from a position of fear. Isn't that an interesting thought? Operate from the scripts, which will keep me from operating from a position of fear. Have you ever walked into a home on a seller and been caught off guard? Maybe the home was bigger than you thought, or maybe much nicer than you thought, or maybe it was smaller than you thought. Maybe it was a pigsty. You ever been caught off guard? Have they ever said something that maybe caused you to back up a little bit? All right? When that fear sets in, or maybe you're going into a neighborhood where the homes are much more expensive than what you're used to handling, and you have some anticipation. Well, the fears that we have are all perfectly normal. They go with human communication, human interaction, the sales process. How you choose to react is a choice you have to make. And you choose to react by asking questions from the scripts. And number 10, never stop working on versatility. Versatility adds business. Lack of versatility takes business away. It is so interesting, isn't it? Okay, versatility. The ability to adapt to a variety of people, variety of situations, variety of ways. The hardest thing for people is to develop versatility because we get set in our ways. Mike, this is how I do things. That's how I do it. That's it. If you don't like it, too bad. Yeah, but you're not producing. Yeah, but I'm not producing my way. Watch, that's stupid. Period. End of conversation. See, to develop versatility, you have to be more open-minded to the suggestions that are being offered. I have to tell you, it was a great list that Ira presented. We have a great group of brokers and managers here in Atlanta from the East Coast. We're doing a good job for them. Hopefully, your broker manager is there, and if they miss this one, send them to Huntington Beach, California in May when we do this 2-day management retreat again. Thanks for watching. We're on week 5 of a 6-week series. See you next week. Thanks for watching.